Hello, welcome to my channel, Learn English in Easy Way. Let's start with the news stories. San Francisco. San Francisco is in the state of California in the west of the United States. It is near the Pacific Ocean. People think it is the capital of California, but it isn't. First, people from Spain lived there. Today, Austrians, Italians, Chinese, and others live in the city with Americans. The Chinese live in Chinatown. There are many Chinese restaurants there. The houses, post boxes, and telephones in the streets are very interesting. This part of the town is exactly like China. Fisherman's Wharf is another place where tourists want to go. You can find a table in a nice little restaurant near the sea there. You can eat seafood and look at the Golden Gate Bridge. You can watch the ships passing under it and the cars crossing it. The Golden Gate Bridge is the symbol of San Francisco. After you finish your meal, you can take a boat trip to Alcatraz. Alcatraz was a famous prison between 1866 and 1920, but only tourists go there now. San Francisco is different from other American cities. It is more European. The sun always shines there, and there are a lot of things you can do at night. You can go to the nightclubs, discos, restaurants, cinemas, and theaters. That's why a lot of young people want to live in San Francisco. Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the capital of the United States. 15 million people visit the city every year. Halima and Ahmed, her brother, left their home in Egypt and traveled to the United States last week. They are visiting Washington, D.C. with their American friend Tom. Here is the letter they wrote to their aunt. Dear Aunt Samara, we arrived in Washington, D.C. 3 days ago. What a great city! On Friday, we took a city tour. We saw many historical sites, the Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and the Capitol. On Saturday, we were busy too. We left our hotel and went to the White House. This is where the president lives. It's a big, white building. We learned that it was made in 1792 and John Adams was the first president to live there. When we arrived at the White House, we saw two dogs in the garden. They were chasing each other. We took a picture of them. Later, we visited some of the museums. We wanted to see the optional Air and Space Museum too. But it closes at 7 p.m. and we went there at 7:30 p.m. We hope to see it tomorrow. Love, Halima and Ahmed. William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in Stratford on April 23, 1564. His father, John Shakespeare, was an important man in the town. William didn't come from a poor family. When he was 18, William married Anne Hathaway in Stratford, but he didn't want to stay there. He wanted to be an actor, and the best theatres were in London. So in 1587, William went to London, where he worked as an actor in a theatre called the Rose. He began to write plays for the actors. He wrote Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, Richard II, Antony and Cleopatra, and many more. Everyone liked his plays, and he became famous. When James I became king in 1603, Shakespeare worked for him and performed his plays for the king and his friends. He also worked at the famous Globe Theatre. This theatre presented his last play, Henry VIII. There was a gun in this play, and fire from the gun burned the theatre down. In 1610, Shakespeare went back to Stratford. He wanted to live there with his family, but he died on April 23, 1610. He was only 46 years old. Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Joseph Hitchcock was born in London on August 13, 1899. He went to school and university there, and in 1920 he started to work with a British film company. In 1920 he also married Alma Revell, his wife, for the next 60 years. They had one daughter. From 1925 to 1939, he made several films in Britain, including The 39 Steps and The Man Who Knew Too Much. In 1939, he left Britain because he wanted to work in Hollywood. He lived in Los Angeles for the rest of his life and made many of his 53 films there. A lot of people in America and Europe saw his famous films Psycho 1960 and The Birds 1963. Queen Elizabeth II made Hitchcock Sir Alfred in 1980. Soon after that, in May 1980, he died in Los Angeles. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin was born in London in 1889. He first appeared in music halls and then acted on the London stage. In 1910, he went to the USA with Fred Carnot's company, but he didn't stay with Carnot very long. In 1913, he started to work at the Keystone Company in Hollywood. There he made his first film, Making a Living, in 1914. In his second film, Kid Auto Races at Venice, 1914, he introduced the Little Tramp. This character made him famous. Chaplin got married several times. He met his last wife, Ona O'Neill, in 1942 and married her a year later. Chaplin was then 54 years old and Ona 18. He left the USA in 1952 for political reasons and lived with his family in Switzerland for the rest of his life. He died in 1977. If you enjoyed the video, please hit a like and subscribe to my channel. Have a good one and see you in next video.